My name is Bill Weiner, and this is my second year at NCCU. I have in the past been a professor at other universities and an administrator at other universities, and I'm very happy to be here at this very good university. We are located within the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, and our program is in special education. And we have two programs in special ed. One is teaching visually impaired children, and that's where we prepare teachers who teach blind children how to read and write Braille, how to use Braille to conduct their math, and how to use adaptive technology so that they can participate in the various programs within their school settings. Our second program is orientation and mobility, and that program prepares teachers who work with blind children, teaching them how to travel independently so that they can travel in their homes, in their schools, in the community, and eventually all throughout the city. A very demanding program. In order to teach blind children how to travel, our students have to put a blindfold on themselves, and they have to put in about 100 hours under that blindfold. And they learn to do such things as travel in this building under that blindfold without getting lost and without getting injured. And then they go outside and they learn to travel in the residential neighborhood, which is right near here. And they learn how to walk on the sidewalk and walk around the block, and they learn how to cross streets. And then as they get better at that, we go to the business area in Durham, and they cross streets with busier cars, more traffic lights. They walk on sidewalks that are much wider. And then from there they go to Raleigh. They go downtown to Raleigh, and much wider streets, more travel, more traffic. They take buses, they go to different locations, they go into stores. Eventually they actually then go to Cameron Village and other places by bus under the blindfold. They go into stores, they make purchases, they use revolving doors. In some of the malls they use escalators. They learn all of the skills that blind children and eventually adults will need to be able to travel independently. And that's an exciting course where we do that face-to-face. A couple of other courses we have that are online. One is sensory motor development, where we really deal with understanding the development of young children and how that would differ if somebody has a visual impairment. So those are two of the main courses. Another is psychosocial implications of visual impairment. What's it like growing up with a visual impairment? How does that affect your personality and your development? At the same time, what if all of a sudden you lose your sight? That's a different situation, and how does that affect you? So those are kinds of courses that we teach, and of course there are other courses that deal with understanding the eye, functionality, pathology, etc., reading Braille. There are actually up to 63 credit hours of courses in the discipline. My teaching philosophy, I've over the years learned that there are two ways to teach. You can be the sage on the stage, or you can be the guide on the side. And I prefer kind of a combination of the two. I like to be able to present information, but at the same time I like to be able to have students learn and discover on their own. And that requires that I give them problems, I give them situations where they have to work out the difficulties they're experiencing, and I think they learn a lot better that way than just by having me present information. We have a very close relationship with the students. This is a niche program. It's a small program, and because of that we work very, very closely with the students. We get to know them very, very well. Let me give you an example. One student in particular who was having difficulty learning how to travel under the blindfold, we gave her extra lessons. We had her come in for extra hours of instruction, and by doing that we gave her the support that she needed to be successful. Then when she went on her internship, which was at a VA setting, working with blinded veterans, she did very, very well, so much so that they wanted to hire her at the completion of her internship. My research is basically in visual impairment and blindness, and I've written a book called Foundations of Orientation and Mobility, and it's used at this university, but it's also used at all of the 18 other universities that offer this kind of a program. So doing that research, writing that book, helps me to be really familiar with the material and then able to present it to my students. I'm also the associate editor of the Journal of Visual Impairment and Blindness, and that is the journal of record for our discipline. And so I see all of the articles and I review them as they come in, and that allows me to get a really good handle on the latest information, the latest research that comes into the field. Well, what I really like about NCCU is that this is a university that has a conscience. As I mentioned, it's a niche program, it's a small program, and many universities would not want a program that is small and requires a lot of resources. But this university is concerned about diversity. It's concerned about not only racial diversity, but diversity among individuals who have disabilities, and really puts a lot of emphasis on making sure that we're there to help the community. And our involvement with the community is really very, very strong. And that's what I really enjoy most about NCCU.